Hello everybody, my name's James, most of you know that. Welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 1 Deadline stream, and it's live. The countdown clock is on and we are circa 52 minutes away from the Gameweek 1 Deadline. It's Gameweek 1 and I'd like to be fashionably late, and you know that. You may notice some new things on the graphics. I'm not going to go through them in as much detail. There's a good reason why. But let me show you the changes and what's on screen for you. So the left of me, you will see the top captaincy picks that was previously in the bottom right hand corner has moved to the left. That will alternate with my correct score predictions for the 10 fixtures this game week. Below that, you'll see the benching dilemma screen where there's two players put together. That is the preferred choice of player to start. They run in order of outfield players, pages 1 to 4. So the first player on page 1, he's favoured all the way through to page 4. Page 5 shows some goalkeepers, which should be on the screen for you right now. Below that, you'll see the fixture ticker. Next 5 fixtures taken from obviously FPL's FDR. So if you don't agree with it, that's basically their problem. And to the bottom right, you will now see predicted lineups, which should spin round for you during the course of the stream. There's the Burnley one for you, and it will keep going around now. That you'll see my predicted lineups for all 20 teams will spin around during the course of the stream in the bottom right hand corner. So if you're thinking, oh, James isn't going to get to my question, yeah, that's a possibility. But if it's is he going to start, well, my predictions in there. Hopefully that'll help. And above, you will see my team as it stands now, taken from FPL Teams app, and this live stream is brought to you in partnership with FPL Team. No, there's no exchange of money. We're just partners. We just love each other. Shout out, Peter. Hope you're well, mate. You can see his little logo above me. FPL Team is the best planning tool available in the FPL community. He has not paid me to say that. That's just generally how I feel. We're partners. I like Pete. So this is my lineup as it stands. Pickford, Stones, Gabriel, Estupinan, Chilwell, Saka, Rashford, Martinelli, Mitoma, Haaland, João Pedro. Haaland, captain, fairly naturally, I think. I'm not prepared to debate it for this particular one personally. But the bench has changed from the podcast this morning. So I did say I would have bought if one of 6 players was named as doubtful, and one of those players was Dominic Solanke. But I've still gone through and done it. So the one I was debating earlier in the week was Solanke and Eze, or Watkins and Garnacho. Watkins and Garnacho are in. Eze is a reluctant. He's left the squad. This is what I intend to go with. So it's Johnston, Watkins, Garnacho and Luke Shaw on my bench. Boost is active. I don't recommend anybody else does this. I've given my reasons all week long why I'm going ahead with this, and I know there's plenty of cons and no one needs to tell me. I've thought about it loads, but I'm doing it. That's what I've decided to do, and it's a season-long decision, and if it does shit this week, then it does shit, and if it does good, then it does good. It doesn't mean I'm a fucking hero or anything. It's just what I actually think is now the best strategy for me with the team that I wanted, so that's why I'm going ahead and doing it. It could still change, and we should all be open to that. The reason it could still change is fairly obvious, right? We've got a Manchester City lineup that's probably going to get leaked in around about 40 minutes or so. If Ortega is in it, he's going in. If John Stones isn't in it, he's going out. Other than that, I don't think it will change. There is some speculation going around at the moment, which I'm trying to get verified, that Rico Lewis is likely to be in the Manchester City team. I haven't had that verified yet, but that's the word that I'm hearing. Okay, cool. Cheers. You know who you are. So it's not verified as yet, but that's the word going around, which I guess partially makes John Stones a doubt if Rico Lewis is going to play. So I've got to be eyes on the prize, I think, with that one. So it could yet change, but I'm quite happy to go with it as it is, I think. Right, let's get into the questions. As ever, guys, many of your questions may be answered on the graphics. If you think it is, it would be amazing if you did the courtesy of saying, yeah, do you know what? Thanks, James. I'm going to delete my message because you've answered the question for me. It will help me get through as many varied questions as possible. And, of course, repeat questions will probably be skipped if it's, who shall I captain? Right, okay, great. Mike says, hi, James, and good luck. You'll probably cover this, but would you prefer Maddison or Richarlison? Richarlison at this stage, the concerns over injury is gone. As far as we're aware, he's fit. So I presume he'll play in the number 9 position. So if I had to start with one, that would be it. Hello to Luke Sherwood. Hope you're well, mate. Pushkar says, hello, James. Great job on the correspondent videos. Best thing on any fantasy channel. Thank you, mate. Quick question here. I'm going to go Salah. Final decision 4-1-4-5-1 with Gvardiol or 4-5-2 with João Pedro. I mean, 4-5-2 sounds great, mate. I presume you meant 4-4, so I'd go João Pedro with that fixture this week, mate. Sam Jones says, love the bench boost, James. Thoughts on Gvardiol if leaks show him starting? Might downgrade. Yeah. I mean, if I get a word, for example, that says Gvardiol's starting and there isn't clarity on John Stones, then I'm probably going to make the move and just put the 0.5 in the bank, to tell you the truth. Lee Sherwood says, I'm torn between Mbumo for the longevity versus Matone with the fixtures early on. Any advice? Yeah, my advice would be if you get it wrong with Matoma, you're not going now. So what do you want? Do you want a short-term pick or a longer-term pick? Personally, I've started with Matoma, so it's fairly obvious. That's what I would say. Ian from Melbourne says, G'day James, no question for me, just want to say thank you for everything you've done pre-season. Quite simply the hardest work in FPL content provider in my opinion. Good luck with the bench boost, cheers pal, good luck for your season Ian, good luck to Southend, good to see him up and running. Mike says, hi James and good luck, you'll probably cover this. Yeah, once was enough Mike, thank you, I've covered it. Grumpy Mother FPL, I love it. Hi James, just want to say thank you for the pre-season content and to wish you well for the season. Thank you, you too. Stevie J10 says, hi James, welcome to the new season. 4 mids and only 3 spots. Maddison, Mitoma, Bruno, Martinelli. Who misses out? Money, no issue, but nothing left in the bank with Bruno. Not massive on Bruno, to be honest. Like, do I think it returns this week? Yeah, cool. Wolves at home. I'm not huge on Bruno. I've never sat for more than 5 minutes, I think, with Bruno Fernandes in a draft since the game opened. That's personal opinion. Listen, that would be a different opinion to most people. I just think Rashford's absolutely clear, and I'm not sure that I want the 2, to be honest. I've got more confidence in the 2 Arsenal forwards for those games coming up, i.e. United play Tottenham, Arsenal and Brighton in 2, 4 and 5, right? Arsenal's a clearer run, so that's why I'm happier to go with the 2 offensive Arsenal. So, the probably more intelligent thing for me to say to you, Stevie, is probably start with Bruno, and then when you're ready, drop to Maddison or Richarlison is probably the sensible answer. Thomas Powell says, hi James, good to be back after you're out. Good luck to everyone, and remember it's just a game. Be nice to each other. Up the Swans. Good luck to Swansea. Good luck to you, Thomas. John Emil Stein says, hi, unsure about the 4.5 mid selection. Don't want Chuck on me because I think he'll lose his place long term. Sarr a good option, or is Anderson the one? I prefer Anderson. I think Sarr could be really cheeky, but we've got to factor in that Tottenham are getting 100 million from Harry Kane and likely to spend it. And when you look at the team, i.e. the predicted lineup I've put on the graphics, which will spin back round shortly, it's the one area of the team you think, oh yeah, that needs improvement. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tottenham buy another midfield player. Anderson, I think he's going to get minutes consistently for Newcastle this season. How regular is he going to start? I don't know. But I think there's clear upside then there. If I was starting with 4.5 midfield, it would be Anderson. I'll just cover that quickly. Cheapest goalkeeper for me, Turner. Fairly straightforward. My favourite 4.0, I think, is Issa Kabore of Luton, despite the blank next week, just because they've got a really good run from sort of game week 4 onwards. Midfield 4.5 would be Anderson, and the cheapest 4.5 forward for me would be Cameron Archer. Voyes Verta says, if Stones doesn't start, can you suggest me some alternatives? Already have Chilwell, Gabriel, Estupinan, Baldock. So you're not a million miles away from me. Luke Shaw's 1, right? So there's a good chance you got Onana and don't want to do that. So it's cheaper. To be honest, that back 3 is pretty fine. Gvardiol, if we've got the information, will save you 0.5. Or to be honest, just pair it up with another 4.0 and go Kabore. There's plenty of 4.5s getting attention. The best of them, I would say Udogi, but not great to start with. But you probably don't need it to start. Is a good run from game weeks 3 to 5. I think Pau Torres Villa longer term. Matty Cash upside if you want to go there earlier on. Sven Botman, if you don't mind losing a price on him, will be great probably from game week 5 onwards. Levi Colwill, difficult game week 1, but good fixture. There's a lot in there. Hickey and Henry at Brentford. There's loads. There's loads in it. I don't think you're going to go too wrong with any of them, to be honest. Tropical says, have 1 million in the bank, no future transfers planned. Would you use 0.5 to go Martinelli to Odegaard? No, leave the money, mate. Matt Lackin says, hi James, thanks for the content pre-season. Torn between Fernandes and Watkins. United fixtures feel too good to miss, but prefer Watkins longer term. It'd be a difficult one to flip, and also consider that this time next week Fernandes goes to Tottenham, which is probably fine for offensive stuff. Watkins got Everton at home and then Burnley away afterwards, so I don't know, is it longer term? And you look at Watkins at Liverpool away, in game week 4, and I think, okay, it's a bad fixture, but it's not a bad fixture for Watkins necessarily. So I think it's fine. Watkins is the clear preference for me. Mahomey says, hi James, who would you go for in the 4.5 million defender bracket? I've just covered that. I'm looking at the following: Destiny, Hickey, or a Palace defender. Yeah, Anderson, Gay is absolutely fine. James Tarkowski, these are all fine picks. And it also depends what you want, right? So when someone's saying to me, oh, okay, right, I want a 4.5 defender, yeah, cool, that's great, but what do you want it for? Do you want it as cover to play in game week 3 and 4? Do you want it for this week? Do you want it to sit on your bench? Do you want to start it regularly? Like, it's a difficult one to answer from that perspective. I think for me, if I'd have had to start with one, because I think it would have been easy to bench it this week, I might have maybe gone for Pau Torres. But also, I don't know if you want to rotate it with someone else either. There's so many good options at that 4.5. I don't think there's a definite, that's the best one. I don't think so. So I'd say Pau Torres. You could be sitting there going, well, I need to play it this week. And then Pau Torres isn't a great choice, right? Newcastle way looks rough from that perspective. Tropical says, why is Flecken out of fashion? He's out of fashion because in pre-season he didn't look like he could catch a cold, mate. That's why. But I suspect he'll probably do quite well, to be totally honest. Occasionally, guys, I'm an R and see if I've got any information potentially on Manchester City stuff. Okay, so getting word potentially KDB Foden start, which is annoying because I'd love to have Phil Foden sitting in my team. No John Stones or Gvardiol. Well, that is a potential spanner in the work. That's come from FPL newsletter, which I think is fairly reliable. And someone has said that Andy, Let's Talk FPL, has said it on his stream as well. And if Andy said it, I think we can take that as pretty gospel. So, as much as I would love to be sitting here answering your questions, I need to have a little think about what I'm going to do. Because obviously that's... John Stone's got to go. That's pretty clear, really. It is under my... I mean, for many of you, it might be a case of just going, right, bench it. For me, on a bench boost, if he's not starting, he's got to go. Do I chance Rico Lewis? It's sweet. There's nothing offensively in that, is there? Okay, gonna have a little think about that. But yeah, it's fair to say John Stones will probably go from my team, guys. Michael Liu, hi James. How would you rank these four? I can only have 3 in my Salah draft. Rashford, Saka, Martinelli, Watkins. Thanks. You can only have 3. Well, I've got Rashford, Saka, Martinelli, Watkins. Who are you leaving out of that? I mean, this week the right answer is Watkins, isn't it? But I think, like, I can't see how your placement of your team is. You might be better off sitting there with Watkins, so you're not having to piss about with it if you really want to get him in next week. So, yeah, maybe arguably Martinelli, but on the face of it for this week, the right answer is Watkins to leave out. JHSUFC, hi James, would you start João Pedro or Nicholas Jackson? If Vardio is starting, also drop down from Stones to turn Mitoma to Richarlison. Well, that's not on the table at the moment. Because it doesn't sound like either of them are starting. Patrons, do your business. More info would be very, very gratefully received. In terms of we've got a no Stones or Gvardiol, it sounds like. Yeah, but okay, fine. Who is starting? If we can get that info, you know where to get me, guys, on Slack. It'd be very, very much appreciated. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, that's the one I've got. Okay. Yeah. There's a decision to be made. We knew this wouldn't be easy, didn't we? I could just go Lewis and leave the million in the bank. The obvious ones for me, I think, this week on the bench boost are Palace and Everton. And I don't really want to go down that route because that's the 2 keepers I've got. So I don't really want to go down that route. What do I want if I go down that route? That's not Palace Everton. It's all in place from the other teams, really, isn't it? 3 Brighton, 3 United, 3 Arsenal. City's the spare one, isn't it? At least with Lewis, I think going forward, I'm going, yeah, I benched that. And I tell you what, with having Shaw as well, that might be the one for... I don't think that's one for other people. But it might be the one that's right for me. it might be the one that's right for me. And just leave the money. Not that I actually know where I'm going to bloody spend it anyway. But it would help me get to potentially say Nicholas Jackson for Pedro in a couple of weeks maybe. Downgrade a keeper to 4.0, Pedro to Jackson in 3, something like that. Okay, at the moment I'm gonna put Rico Lewis in. I don't think that's the right move for many of you, but I think under my circumstances it might be the right move for me at the moment till I've got some more information. The one that would really change that is if there was something on Ortega starting, then look at my wife sending me team photos like I'm not busy. Then I think in that case, yeah, I'd happily probably go Gay or Tarkovsky in that situation. What's that? No, oh Jesus Christ! Don't go Raya. The rest of it's fine. Rest is fine. I don't need the wife on my case before Gameweek 1's even started. Right, let's do a couple of questions. I have at the moment put Rico Lewis in my team, guys. Pushcast says, Martinelli versus Odegaard versus Havertz. How do you assess them? Best pick if all three were the same price. Still Martinelli for me, and in the order you've written them, mate. Zaris says, I really miss your talks. No question, just good luck. Greetings from Greece, my friend. Hope to see you here once. Good luck, mate. I mean, if Tottenham had got in the Conference League, then yeah, maybe I'd have been out there in Athens next May, but I suspect Villa fans will be instead. Tom Bolton says, how different would your bench boost be if you were set on wildcarding in game week 3? I'm not sure it would look any different, to be honest. I did look at a few people I know were quite keen on the idea of game week 3 as a bench boost, but I just think setting it now for that, too much shit will change. And actually, for me, with what I've got, it would look slightly worse. It's probably, to be honest, there's not a lot in it now, in the sense that Watkins goes to Burnley, Man United have got a decent fixture, Palace go to Brentford, Everton, Wolves at home finds. You'd say it's kind of a flip of a coin, but it's easy just to do it now, I think, rather than go, oh, game week 3 might be a little bit better. Like, is Garnacho still going to be in the team in game week 3, for example? The closer I am, the more chance I've got of getting this 15 right. Let's say I had to go, right, what am I going to do with Stones now if I'm planning for game week 3? Like, it's not on. In terms of if I was wildcarding in game week 3, which I have no intention of doing, I don't think it would look that different for me, to be totally honest. No, I don't think so. Lewis Mayer Barton says, hello James, no question today, just a huge thank you for all your free and Patreon content, amazing community in the Slack channels, good luck this year. Excuse me, indigestion. Smash that like, everyone. Yes, smash that like, hit the sub button. So roughly at the moment about 12% of you are in the stream have smashed the like, so it doesn't cost anything, right? It's a free stream. Just hit the fun button, right? Otherwise, watch a different stream, innit? Tom Campbell, my friend, says, evening, James, mate. Thanks for the pre-season content, pal. Good luck with the bench boost. Who do you think scores more over the first 4 game weeks, Enciso or Ferguson? I'm not sure I'll ever start this week, Tom, if that's part of the question. I would say Ferguson, because when he does get a start, he's more likely to go off big. So... but if you've got cover on your bench anyway, you might find yourself in a position after this week it's difficult to start. LP says, hi James, thoughts on Diaby as 5th midfielder, leave 2.5 in the bank or upgrade to Martinelli. Good luck for your new season. I'd go and get Martinelli, mate. You can always reverse that, I think. Mr. Dyer says, how are you, James? Who's the best 4.5 million forward? And Bass, 4.0 million defenders for my bench. I've already covered that, Mr. Dyer, but for those who join later, let's say Kabore and Archer. Josh Hinchcliffe says, hi mate, would you rather have Watkins or Wilson if planning a game week 2 wild card? Probably Watkins, because I think Isak will start tomorrow. Daniel Winkler says, hi James, the deadline hasn't hit and I already know I'm going to get my City players wrong. Should I even look for news on Twitter or just set it now and turn my phone off? No, I mean, look, just take advantage of the information, right? So when there's information coming, what's reliable, I'll share it with you. And right now, it sounds like there was a rumour before I started that Rico Lewis was going to start. And that adds up more with the news that it sounds like neither John Stones or Gvardiol are starting. And it sounds like De Bruyne and Foden both are. I think those who might have Bernardo Silva, probably won't be many of you, but those who have got Bernardo Silva probably want to be a bit cautious of that. Maybe if you're sitting there with Grealish as well, just flip it to Foden. Might be a sensible thing to do. It doesn't work for me to throw Foden in there. not really. I could go second Brighton defensive maybe, and throw Foden in for Matoma. It's overthinking it. I think it's overthinking it. Who's next? Billy Taylor says, "Hey Jimbo, Sky FF question: if we hear Kovacic in starting 11 for City, would he be worth saving for him to go with over Rodri?" In my opinion, that's probably a no, to be honest, because what's this week isn't necessarily next week. So yeah, go with Rodri, I think, mate. I've got Rodri sitting in the Sky team. I did say if Foden was in it, I'd have a big think about that. But I will want to see the whole Manchester City team before I make that decision. I probably will do before the end of this stream. We'll maybe have a discussion about it after 6:30. Rob H says, being stubborn, don't want to buy Pedro. What do you think of alternatives such as Vissa or Edouard? I have Mitoma, so don't fancy Pedro as well. I mean, yeah, you've answered your own question, Rob, I think. I had Edouard sitting in mind for a very brief period earlier today with the Solanke doubtful news, and I was like, what am I doing? I'm going to bench boost with 3 Crystal Palace players playing away from home. So I had to bin that. I don't hate Edouard for this one particular week. I think he's a definite starter, but outside of Pedro, so much better, mate. I can't make a case for it. I don't even think Vissa's a certain. I think he will start. I don't think Vissa's a certain starter. I'm not keen on that one particularly at all. Chris Bradley says, "Hey James, best of luck with the bench boost this week. Agree with the logic behind it completely. Hope it pays off big time for you." Thank you, Chris. No one has to agree with the logic of it. I know my logic. It doesn't mean my logic is right, by the way, but it's not a. This has been thought about a lot. Billy Taylor says also, "Do you fancy Milos Kerkez as a cheeky 4.5 punt on bench boost?" No, not really. No, I do think West Ham probably score tomorrow. That's the number one reason why. No, I'm not massively keen on that, to be totally honest. I mean, Udogie, I guess, is a candidate for me here as well, potentially. Newcastle player. I mean, Botman. That would be ironic, wouldn't it? I'd be so ironic if I started with Botman, but that doesn't make sense when I've got Watkins as well. No, I don't want to go double Palace or Everton. I don't fancy Fulham. Nah, I don't think by default it's going to end up City, isn't it? Unless I go double Arsenal and flip Foden in. But no. Stop overthinking this, James. It's not your style. Okay. What you got Souček for? No, why have you got Souček? Get rid of Souček. Get rid of Souček. Sorry, I can't afford a divorce, to be honest. Shout out to Penguin Volver 9 LP. Attal wants everyone to smash the like button. Appreciate it, mate. Louis says, I'm in panic mode, James. I just want this game week to be over already. Well, the deadline will be gone soon. That's it. Keith Redfield, hey James, good luck you too. LH says, hi James, FPL and Sky question. FPL start with Bruno or Maddison, keep some cash. Probably start with Bruno, as said earlier, for someone else. For Sky, Trent or no Trent, and go for Gvardiol if he starts. Cheers, mate. Are you off to Fest after? No, I won't be going to Fest after. I'm going to spend the evening with my son and watch Burnley v Man City. But I hope everyone who is there, I'm sure someone is there now watching me. Hi, hope you're well. I hope everyone there has a really good night tonight. Well, it sounds like it's not Stones or Gvardiol, so this needs a massive rethink on what I do with City. I'm not going Lewis in Sky. That's a definite. So, yeah, I do need to have a look at Sky, and I'm not doing that till this FPL deadline's gone. James Lovegrove says, good luck on the bench boost, James. Think we'll ever see Will Scarlett? I'm sure you've covered this somewhere, so apologies for the repetition. His third bench spots are not too, but I don't know if you meant Dane Scarlett or Will Osula. I'm not sure which you meant. We think Cameron Archer's going to Sheffield United, right? So that's your one, mate. Scarlett is unlikely. Richarlison will play there. Son will cover there. They've got this Argentinian kid, Vélez. I think Scarlett will probably end up going on loan in the Championship. Osula I know less about. He's more likely of the two to play as Osula over Scarlett. But Archer's going to go in there and he's probably going to play. Charles Finch says, start Mbumo or João Pedro. Start Mbumo or João Pedro. João Pedro for me. Jim, that bench boost looks pretty bloody good, to be fair. Cheers, mate. It's not looking great till as I said, if you're joining in, Rico Lewis is in that team at the moment. Chris Bradley, Cole, we're not on there. Assume you'd favour starting Cash over him. Probably yes, because of the opponent. Cash better offensively. So if Cole was not on the bench, I don't think he is. No, all the players on it, I'd pick over him. There you go. That's probably the answer. Notorious Nerd, I've answered that, but thanks for your question. James Lovegrove, back to changing shirts between vids, James. To be honest, James, so I've been in the studio today and obviously in the office, and I was sweating. I had to get in the shower, mate. Tom Bolton says, who will you start in nets in game week 2? I have the same, but I'm considering Leno to better cover a game week 2. Well, it might be Matt Turner. Could be that I decide that's a transfer and open up a bit of money, and then there's 1.5 to play with. Then it's open, isn't it? João Pedro to Jackson for me in game week 3, for example. So it could even be that. Right now, of the two, probably be Pickford, just because it's going up against the one Watkins, where I'd have Johnson going up against 3 Arsenal. So I mean, just on that, it'd be a flip of a coin. I'd probably go Pickford, but I wouldn't be overly confident about either. Peter G, hi James. Any reason why Thiago Silva seems so unpopular in the Sky game? Yeah, Colwell's 1 million cheaper. Simple as that, mate. Galazzo says, hey James, good luck for the bench boost. Salah, Pedro, and Richie, or Odegaard, Watkins, and Bruno. He's the Odegaard route. Garlic 25, Diaby and Jackson, or Martinelli and Pedro. And think Archer is going to move because don't know which. Well, I've got Martinelli, Pedro, so that answers that, and I've said Archer plenty. Craig G wants everyone to smash the like. Yeah, that's good. We've now got probably, I don't know, 30% of you have smashed the like now. It's appreciated. Rui Vicente says Foden versus Bruno. I prefer Foden, especially with the information. Jensen or Douglas Luiz? Oh, she wants a 5.5 billion midfielder. Crap. she's the wife just messaged me. She goes Jensen or Douglas Luiz. Cash flow probs in it. Right, I'm gonna throw a curveball. Harry Wilson is what I've just messaged her. Never heard of him. She's shouted, never heard of him. Leon Schwier, no Spurs, James. No, we come back to it though. The first two is tough, right? So, and it's a little bit up in the air with what's obviously been happening over the last 48 hours or so. So, it could be flatter than what we expect at the weekend. No predicted scores, James. So literally, I'm looking at it on the screen right now, my friend. It's on a flip with the captaincy picks, mate. Wedge Jack says, have 3.5 million in the bank with front 8 of... Oh, I'm not reading out the whole 8. Go Archer to Watkins, now benching headache or assessing game week 2. I can't be bothered to read all them names out. I'm really sorry, mate. Go Archer to Watkins and have have the benching headache. JP says, how do you think the Super Cup affects City's lineup before and after in the Premier League? Well, I think we'd all be guessing, right? I don't think we could particularly say. One obvious one for those who got Stones, I guess, is like go back to Shaw if you haven't got 3 Man United. I've just seen a couple suggesting that's what they've got in mind. That's a potential solution for others who want to stay at that bracket. I think Chilwell, if you haven't got, is even more obvious because you shouldn't have 3 other Chelsea. I just get Chilwell in and play him. I think it's perfectly reasonable. Jazim Jazz says Jota's 5th mid, Saka, Odegaard, Bruno, Rashford, the other mids, Fultz, Pedro and forward. It's fine if you've got confidence in him starting, and I think most Liverpool fans have more confidence in that than I do, but I don't have faith in that. JP says, how to decide between Pickford and Johnston? Get a coin and flip it, mate. I think they'll both kick clean sheets. There you go. Freddie Edwards says, if Alvarez starts, would you take Vissa out for him and swap Eze for Mbumo? You're basically saying you want Brentford coverage, is what you're saying to me. No, I would just stick Alvarez in and leave Eze in. Mustafa Gamer says, hi James, love your Garnacho pick. Yeah, I talked myself out of it and I've now talked myself back in it. Neil Grover, my Bournemouth correspondent, says, hey James, here we go on another new season, up the cherries. Patrick Lawson says, Son as a differential stupid to start. Of course he's not stupid because he's got massive capability, isn't he? But not recommended. Let's say that for the moment. E. Charles says, anyone at all considering Havertz? Yeah, I think it's reasonable. I definitely think he'll start, to be honest. I'm not quite sure where. I actually think Nketiah plays tomorrow. But yeah, it's reasonable. Mike says, nobody seems to be mentioning KDB. It's an awkward price, mate. It's that. If you can go there, Mike, you crack on, mate. Audrin Brennan says, are your score predictions ever coloured by what you want to happen based on your FPL team? No. I call it as a I mean, the prediction have influenced some of the choices of the FPL team, like the Palace and Everton choices. There would have been more Palace, and I had to change it today. Like Eze would have gone in because he was thinking about that game more and just thinking, actually, no, I think Palace go there and win, and probably comfortably. That's my take at the moment. So that's what I've got my appeal more for Eze in relation to the bench because I'm only looking for the 1 week, right? So no, more the other way round. To be totally honest, is that the thinking about the games might then influence my FPL decisions rather than the other way round. Because City, and I go, yeah, right, I've predicted City, Arsenal, Brighton, Man United all for good wins this week, and listen, everybody will get off to a flyer if that happens, right? But it's not like it's out there predictions. Such thinks Burnley will get a draw tonight, interestingly. So there is historical for strong teams doing badly on Friday nights and Saturday lunchtimes in game week 1. It should be noted. Okay, Team News and Ticks saying potential leak at 6:15 on his Instagram. By the way, if you are indecisive, like do what I've done and put, say, Lewis in. I'm not saying Lewis is anybody's answer, but I put Lewis in for Stones. I've made the transfer. So that's kind of a worst case scenario for me that just sits. Just in case something happens to the website, we have to remember it's Manchester City. There probably is going to be a little bit of late movement on the website, particularly if there's something big like Haaland, heaven forbid, or Edison isn't in goal or something like that. Aaron Hill says, and Mbeumo Richarlison, my last decision. I'd go Richie at this stage, I think. I'm not... My main gripe with Mbeumo is I'm not absolutely certain where he's going to play or what system Brentford are going to play. That's my biggest gripe at the moment. But I think he's a really good, consistent pick, and if he goes in, he should probably stay in your team up to sort of game week 7 at least, really. Sam Brennan says, hi James, no question today. Best of luck to you this season. Thank you, you too. Tell Moan says, I'm in love with this channel. Thanks, James. Cheers, mate. Smash a like. Taquito says, hey James, triple Arsenal mids. I don't mind that if you've got a preference for it. The thing is with basically the 4 of them, they could all go off, right? So yeah, he's perfectly reasonable, mate. As is, I think, double defensive with them as well. Ben Edinson says, hi mate, need to decide on my last mid 6 million budget. Who's the best option? Is it Morgan Gibbs White? 6 million. It's a horrible price point. Maybe. I think Harry Wilson's... I think Fulham will get beat tomorrow, but I think Harry Wilson's just said to the wire. I think it's possibly a cheeky one to look at for the first 2. I'd love to tell you Keane Lewis Potter. I think he starts, but I've less than 50% confidence in that, to be totally honest. Gibbs White is probably on pens. It's reasonable, but when you look ahead to the fixtures beyond game week 2, even if you suck it up and play him at Arsenal, you're going to want to bin that afterwards. So then what? Then Wilson comes into tough fixtures as well, and the same, in fairness, does apply to him. But it leaves you a little bit more flexibility in money. The other call to say is, if you're rogue, right, don't do that. Go with the one I've gone with. Go with Garnacho. Like, if you've only got 2 United, like, really, really consider that. Tom Bolton, do you think Nketiah starts? Yeah, I just said, yeah, do. Like, not huge confidence in that, but if the predicted lineup will spin around, and yeah, he's in it, mate. SM says, would you put Richarlison Mitoma ahead of Bruno? I have 5 million in the bank, just doesn't feel right. 5 million in the bank does seem quite extreme. You can always start with Bruno and drop it down, right? I think in that case, that's probably the right... But to be honest, this was the problem. In fairness, I had 2.5 sitting in the bank and discussed this on Monday's podcast and said 2.5 could just go Mitoma to Fernandes. And I'm like, don't want to do that. So, no, I probably wouldn't. But I don't know, you've landed with 5 million in the bank. Can you not, like, get salary in, mate? Like, if you've got that much. Shani Russell says, James, bench boosting with Stefan. Jeez. Chilwell, Visser and Gay, listening to every pod of yours has turned my head over the weeks. Remember to drop a like, you freeloaders. Listen, my friend, at least put Turner in. He probably won't do a lot at Arsenal, but hopefully he'll get you more than 0. And Stefan's only going to get you a 0, mate. Heather says, is Haaland starting? Well, as far as we're aware, but I think... we're all going to find out in about 4 minutes, basically. Because if Team News and Ticks has got it, then we're all going to find out. And it's the usual with this, isn't it? 15 minutes before deadline. If you're not logged into the FPL website, guys, I would suggest you do it. It is going to be mad. It's going to be absolutely mad. Who's next? Yonamo says, sorry for, it's probably Onama, sorry. Hi James, no questions. Team is lot and I hope the bench boost goes well. Keep up the work on here and Patreon. Thanks, mate. Ben Eddington, every year there are always a few that become mainstays in FPL out of nowhere. Any prediction on who that is this year? Yeah, Richarlison, but not necessarily at this minute. Penguin says, hi James, Paddy here from Colombia, formerly Bozos, now Penguin. That's my 12-year-old son giving me the nickname. I have 5 million spare in midfield. What do you think of Garnacho? Yeah, he's in the bench boost, mate, so obviously fine. Craig Gardner says, considering a couple of combinations, Richarlison versus Jackson plus 4.5s, or is Madison a better pick over Richarlison, but would have to drop a 9 to pick for Richarlison, mate. Rich F says, hi James, love the channel, love the podcast, good luck this season, buddy. Looking forward to the inevitable ups and downs this season. Good luck, Rich. Gene Dree says, I'm hearing no stones. Yep, keep up, thank you. Gavin Richardson says, will this season be remembered as the one not answering any more Kane questions yet? So that James got loads of people to bench boost in game week 1. I do not recommend that anybody follows what I'm doing, I promise you. 3, lots of people game week 2 wildcard season. Listen, every single year, oh, I'm not going to wildcard early, and people do. Like, just imagine that Arsenal, Brighton and City get beat this week. Like, the hysteria with then Saturn, Villa, Liverpool have good results. The hysteria going into next week, some people will pull the trigger. Like, honestly. And they won't consider it for a second right now, but the results and the movements of the market, people will panic. As soon as people are losing value from their teams, it's like, oh, the wobble starts. LP says, thoughts on Tarkovsky as a 5th defender could be good if we're expecting no Sean Dyche 1-0s. Yep, perfectly reasonable. I don't want to go double Everton or Palace defence here. I don't want to do that. Neil Grover says, Kirk is 4.5, get involved. I'm not having it, Neil. I'm not having it. It's wasting my time. I think I might as well go 4.0 in that case, mate. It's wasting my time. I'm never going to play him in those upcoming weeks, mate. It's wasting my time at the moment. FPL Nazri says, hi James, sorry I missed the Luton pod. How nailed is Kabore? Any competition at all? Look, Luton, right? They could have loans, they could buy players. They're looking to invest in the squad. We've seen that again this week with the signings of Barkley and Brown. So can I promise you they won't buy another right wing back? No. Is he going to start at the moment? I'd be astonished if he didn't. Kimmy says, Lewis Hall to Palace on loan. Should be OOP in midfield. Crazy punt at 4.5. Not keen on that. Not keen on that. It might be that has the deal gone through? I think it has. Maybe he's even in contention to play at left back tomorrow. It's probably maybe likely to give Schlupp competition. Mitchell didn't have a great season last year. I think that's a watch and wait personally. You might find it his first choice backup. I don't see the need to do that when Gay and Anderson were there playing every week. I don't think we're expecting mass returns from a Hall. I don't know. Says no Stones. Diaz, Josco. Diaz we knew of course because that rumour went round last night. That he hasn't gone because of concussion protocols. And you should bear that in mind. It might come back in next week as well, Ruben Diaz, and that might affect Vardio and Stones further. We did think Stones travels. Lots of people saying the site has crashed, which is no surprise, to be totally honest. So we haven't got the leak yet, but the site's on the blink. I mean, it's up for me, I must say, at the moment. But it's going to be mad busy. It would have been mad busy anyway without Manchester City playing at this time. Yeah, I've got that message. Thanks to the patrons who messaged me that. Richard Lewis, no Stones or Vardio James. Yep. Archie M, what's the plan if we get reliable news that Stone doesn't start? Late joining, so sorry if I've already covered. So at the moment, I've gone Rico Lewis in. No Grealish, according to Team News and Ticks. Thank you, Paul. So Jack Grealish not starting. So that would suggest to me Foden left. It's got to be, isn't it? It's got to be Foden left, which actually makes me less keen on Foden because I think that could easily flip. Jack's just had a good party this summer, isn't he? Bernardo right, and then If De Bruyne's playing as well, then it's going to be Kovacic or Alvarez, isn't it? It's going to be one or the other of those. Okay. Yeah. Cheers, Sean. Keep it coming, patrons. Anything we've got, as long as we got the sources, I'm happy to share it with the guys. As it stands, I think I'm just going Rico Lewis here, guys. I think that's going to be what I do. I think it'd be nice to hear that he definitely starts. Would be handy. I'm sorry I'm not answering some of the questions, but I also feel like the information is more important for a lot of people at this stage. Patrons, if we get anything extra on Rico Lewis that you can message me, I'd be very grateful. RGM, what's the plan for you if we get reliable? That's what we've done. LH, like and share, guys. Yeah, cheers. Jamie Anthony, who's the go-to City defence then? I mean, guess away what that City defence is going to be. So I guess, what's it going to be? Aki, Akanji, Lewis. It's not going to be Laporte. Oh, Kyle Walker, I suppose. It'd be Kyle Walker. So what we're looking at? Lewis inverting from left back, maybe. Is that what he's thinking? Is that why John Stones isn't starting? Maybe that he's thinking, yeah, sugar, I want to invert from the left hand side rather than the right hand side. It could be that. I think. And then you're probably looking, yeah, Walker right back, Aki left sided centre back, and Akanji in the middle of that. Maybe. I still don't know why he wouldn't just bloody play John Stones or Gvardiol, but Pep's the best. He knows best. RTM, what's the plan for you if we get reliable news Stones doesn't start? Late Joy have done it. FPL Eze says, hey James, is Turner, Chilwell, Jackson, Udogie strong enough bench boost? Want to get it out of the way? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I don't like it as much as mine, primarily because the 4.0 goalkeeper playing away to Arsenal. But I don't fancy Udogie to get a return. I don't overly fancy Jackson. Chilwell is relying on offensive stuff. That feels like it could blank more than mine, I think. And I would say that, I don't mean that disrespectfully anyway. It just feels that way looking at the two benches. And I think that's a reasonable thing to say. I'm going to say no. I think there's enough doubt there, mate. Isaac Stead's got to be Akanji. Surely, John, do not go Rico, made that mistake last year. But I won't need him to start. Look at my team as well. With Shaw sitting there on the bench. Going forward, Lewis would be fifth choice. That's part of the point. I don't even need it. Just go, right, I'm not having a City defender as it stands. So that's why it's just for today then, isn't it? Isaac Stairs has got to be Akanji, surely. John, do not go Rico. Matthew Shaw, what's the story with Stones? Sorry, just tuned in. Sounds like he's not playing. I don't know. Rico Lewis Akanji will star, my friend. Sweet Blues, get Reece James for the pain. Oh my God, I had not even thought of that. I genuinely didn't for one moment think of getting Reece James. If he had a better game week 1, I would consider it. Yeah, it's same. I wouldn't consider Colwell because what bench boost at home to Liverpool? Nah, one's enough, isn't it? I don't double in that circumstance. Sure, it looks like a hero if it comes off, but nah, I don't think so. Ben Edinson said, "This is why I never buy a ticket to the City lottery." Colin Johnson and Turner, or Pickford and Turner. Toss a coin. Pickford. Rotates better with Turner as far as I'm concerned. Chris Ryland says double Arsenal defence James instead of Stones. So maybe I don't want to take Martinelli out particularly. It is an option though, isn't it? It is an option. What I would really love is someone to tell me Ortega was starting out. It'd be amazing. Then I'd just go Johnston. Not Johnston. I'd go Tarkovsky or Gay instead and been one of the keepers. That's more what I'd want to do. But I don't think, guys, patrons, unless you've got anything, I don't think there's anything more forthcoming, to be totally honest. The Football Tourist says, if you fancied some fun and went Kirkis, any wisdom with just starting with him as first sub? Excuse me. The first sub's fine, isn't it? And to be honest, starting him this week's okay. Is that better? I do fancy City for a clean sheet tonight. I don't think Burnley have got what they want in place yet offensively. That's my take. Ah! Just lost my headphones. Benedict Wong, is son the talisman at Spurs now that Kane's gone? You probably will be. But I think we'd save 2 million on Richie at the moment, mate. Charles Finch, starting Boomo, João Pedro. I think we've done that. Gavin Richardson, new intermediate plus tier patron. Love your stuff. Thank you, mate. Best 5 million Man City defender for today when you know. Aki, I guess. But at the moment, we don't know. We've not got anything on what... We can only assume, right? Stones, Vardio's out, but Laporte could be in there somewhere. All right. I don't know. You could do Martinelli to KDB, then Watkins to Solanke. Make the whole point of changing the bench boost today was I took Solanke out because he's a doubt. Levan's Sugarmar says start 2 of Eze and Bumo and João Pedro. God almighty. I'd bench and Bumo from that. Michael's game, and you could go Lewis, Foden and Solanke. Why are we coming back to Solanke? It was the whole point this morning. Solanke's what's forced the change for me. He's a doubt. I'm not bench boosting with a player who's a doubt. Jim says go Targovsky. He's got a goal in him. I know that. I don't want double Everton defence. I loved it if I knew Brantford was going to play it, tempt me more. Peter Lahey, hi James, thanks for your hard work, mate. And Buema, is it Mbama, Mbumo, or Madison or Richarlison? I'm gonna say Richarlison, mate. FPL Sam, Doggy or Chilwell, mate. Zuggy says, hi James, do you think Pascal Gross will start? Yes, probably, but at right back, I think. Tom Kelly says Eze or Diaby. Eze at that start for me, mate. Flip that. Hunter Typer, who's got Saka for captain? Can't resist it. Loving your work, James. Thank you. Yeah, good luck. I hope your captaincy falls on its arse though. Sorry, plays for the Arsenal. Pranav says, any team news so far? Yeah, we've covered Andy. Yes, been thinking of Anthony for a few weeks, then dropped down to best emerged 6.5 player. Cheers. Ruslan says, should we go for Gvardiol? It doesn't sound like he's starting. Isaac Stairs leaked FPL for City lineup. Yeah, I don't know if that's reliable, mate, just being honest. The Woodstock one, Chris, is good luck for the new season. Thanks once again for all your hard work. You're very welcome, Chris. We are circa about 5 minutes from deadline, guys, so this is it. It's decision time, isn't it? It could, of course, go Tarkovsky and then put Edison in goal. I can now afford that. That is not an option. That's not an option. Lewis and Martinelli or Saliba and Foden? Do I chance Foden? I don't want to take Martinelli out. I could just put Foden in for Mitoma. I'm not going double Brighton defence. Nah, I think I'm going to stick it with Rico Lewis, I think. Never would have been consideration for me, but I think it's the right one for me now. I've landed with Luke Shaw on a bench boost. It's fine, just leave it there. Peter G, hi James, SkyQuest, Chilwell, Richarlison. I think that's probably a Richarlison, mate. Gavin Richardson, Bammer or Archer, Varun, are you sure about Garnacho? No, but he's in. FPL Sam, best 6.5 for long term till game week 8ish and Boomo. FPL Josh, I got Rico, Lewis, Chilwell back up. Telemone, I'm with you on bench boost. Tom Hall, any watch along streams planned for this year, mate? Let me get to deadline and enjoy the weekend of football, pal. Maybe. Patrons, we've got an event happening in 15 days at the studio. Bit of football, bit of poker. Details of that coming up tonight, probably before kickoff of Burnley and Man City. Flock says Stones is out, mate. Yeah, I know, thanks. Chipman76 struggling to drop out of Mitoma. Eze, Watkins or Pedro. All others are locks. I don't know what's the updated team, mate. Not got anything extra to share. And he just took Gabriel out for Saliba last minute. Why has he done that? Why has he done that? I'm not having that because I know that one of Andy's best contacts is Arsenal. One of his best contacts is an Arsenal contact. I know that. I've just put Saliba in my team. I know that Andy is a good Arsenal contact. Game is now unavailable. I'm pretty sure that transfer went through. Server's down. This is good, this, isn't it? It's proper farcical, really, that this team news stuff does it to you. That's one I just wouldn't take a chance on, mate, on that. Why is Andy doing that? Why would he suddenly decide last minute to go Saliba over Gabriel? Okay, so apparently Andy might have... He's had a tip-off, but he's not sure on the source, so he's just changed it. Just in case, basically, is what he's saying. So, I mean, yeah, I can't tell you if that's gone through or not because the site's crashed. I'm pretty sure it was. I'd looked at it. The transfer went in and it's actually Saliba was sitting in my 11, so I'm 99% sure that did go through. But yeah, what a mess. Shitty, innit? You know, look how popular the game is, yeah, but your servers can't handle it, can they? Ash J, with Buendia out, with Philogene play much? I've got him predicted in the Villa team, but most of the Villa guys would not agree with that. Similar to, I still think Darwin Núñez will play on Sunday, but nearly every Liverpool fan I've heard from disagrees with that. And they definitely know more about their team than I do. J23, thoughts on Benrahma? Don't hate it for a kind of 1 weeker. It's fine. It's reasonable, I think. Site's back up and running. William Saliba is in my team. So's Rico Lewis. Love it. Rich Ev, hi James. Do I go for A, KDB and Chukwuemeka, or B, Havertz Foden, mate? FPL Nazu struggling between Richie, Maddison, Bumo start. What do you think, Richie? Rabbi says Martinelli and Bruno, or Maddison and Rashford. Martinelli and Rashford obviously doesn't work. Rashford's the one I'd want the most, Maddison. But on that, Rashford and Richarlison at this stage, mate, hold the money. Isaac says, I don't know if I can put links in here, but Nick S says, Evening James, just joining Pantry, look forward to a great season of content. Nick S, Evening James, cheers, Nick, appreciate it, mate. I'll get a link to you shortly, mate. Ali Paksan says, hi, James, is still a good pick? No, he's not. He is for this week. The Zerbi said he's going to play, but he also said him and Verbruggen will share minutes 50-50 throughout the season. That's exactly what came out of his mouth today, so... Site's down again. I think, guys, I've got it at time. I've got Rico Lewis and William Saliba sitting in my team. So that's it. Time. That's it. Deal with the decisions. What will be, will be. I guess the benefit for me is I've now got an extra million in the bank. Whatever happens. An extra million in the bank, which allows a little bit more flexibility in coming weeks. If I watch the game tonight and go, oh fuck about Phil Foden, then I can sort it out. It only takes dropping one of them 4.5s to a 4.0 to Turner, and then I've got 1.5 in the bank, and that's, if I did make a move next week, that's the most likely one. Just make sure that Turner obviously starts tomorrow, and then probably get him in and play him for Sheffield United. Suj is calling, mate. Hello, Chief.
Hello, mate. You right?
Yeah, you're on the Deadline stream. Please do not swear.
That's what I wanted to. I'm not going to swear, but I can't speak for Adam Pritchard or Clayton or any of these other ruffians that are around. I've got Pete FPL team here as well. Pete, say hello.
Oh, hello. Who's it? Hi, James.
James, I thought I'd let you know that everyone shit themselves here about Gabriel, and they shit themselves here about.
Did that really happen?
Yeah. Honestly, everyone has just been getting rid of Gabriel for Saliba like I've never seen, and everyone's been getting rid of Stones for James and Chilwell like I've never seen in the last 20 minutes as well.
I ended up with Rico Lewis, mate.
You were an FPL team, mate. Pete did it. Pete did the same. You Deadline stream in partnership with you both Rico Lewis.
I mean, if I wasn't bench boosting, I'd have just gone Kabore. But I think for me, because I've got Luke Shaw as part of this bench boost as well.
Are you locked in bench boost?
What?
Are you locked in bench boost?
Yeah, it's done, mate, yeah.
I'm so happy. I went from Gabriel to Saliba. I thought that was just a sideways move anyway. And I just bought Chilwell for Stones.
Do you know what? I was talking to you and I put the phone down. I completely forgot I was doing a stream. I was just like, Suji's on speaker, crack on. And I'm looking at the chat going, oh shit, I'm still doing a live stream.
Alright, give the listeners love and I'll catch you in a bit.
All right, good luck. Have a good night. Send my love to everyone there.
Next tweet, James. Look out for my next tweet.
All right, laters.
Bye.
Right, guys. I wish you luck for the season. If anybody has any non-FPL questions, because quite frankly, I've covered this to death over the last couple of weeks, and it's done now. Whatever our decisions is, that's it. The decisions have been made. Rico Lewis and William Saliba were nowhere near my thoughts this morning, but they are now in my FPL team. In a second, I will try and update the graphic. In fact, no, I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to do it. If anyone's got any non-FPL questions, send them in the chat. Mike's put site is still up, but no, the game is updated, mate, so there's no chance to transfer that. Non-FPL question, I'm happy to sit here for a little while, 15-20 minutes or so, and cover them with you. If you just came for the FPL stuff, smash a like, hit the sub button, disappear. Content next week. Deadline stream will be same time next week, and I promise to be a little bit earlier because the deadline next week is 6:15 p.m. UK time next Friday, so we'll start about 5:15. Game week review returns on Monday. Me and Suj will review the first 9 games of the game week. People's Poll Tuesday. Sky Fantasy Football Podcast on Wednesday. Clash of Correspondence returns on Thursday with Crystal Palace versus Arsenal with Rory McLaughlin-Dowd and Adam Pritchard. Next Friday, what am I going to do? Do I want to do 2 streams in a day? It's probably Ask James, but I might do something else. On Patreon this week, if you want to support the show, it's www.patreon.com/planetfpl. You think, this guy deserves a little bit. Yes, these streams that are free comes all about because of the support of our patrons. Thank you to every patron for their support. We are 700 plus strong again now. If you want to join that community and get yourself off Twitter and join our Slack, you can do that from basic plus tier, which will also get you additional podcast a week. If you want all the additional podcasts, intermediate plus tier is the one for you. And if you want all the additional stuff like Talking Tactics, the team news stream on a Friday, chip talk, unanswered queues, away days when I go away from home, Twitter stories, which might soon become X-rated stories, all those bits and bobs and extras at advanced tier, that's the one for you, will be advanced tier patron. If you don't want any of the extra content and you just want to say, I want to give this guy a little bit of thanks, basic tier is the one for you. Just jump in there, basic tier. That'll be the one for you. www.patreon.com/planetfpl. If you're on your way out, smash a like. Let's get into some of these non-FPL questions then, and I need to start thinking about bloody Sky as well, because exactly what I said to Suj this morning was, if Guardiola's in the City team, I might move Stones to Guardiola, and it sounds like neither of them are in it. So I've got Saliba in that, so that's not a concern from that perspective. I need to. There's no point in me looking at this poxy FPL app that's not going to do anything, or website even, because I don't trust the app. It's time to start thinking about Sky Fantasy, isn't it? Right, let's do some questions. Telemone, Saliba and Garnacho in my team. Oh my god! It's a lot saying Saliba made their team. Ian said, "What's for dinner? First takeaway of the season." No, we're trying to get off the takeaways, to be honest, at the moment. So I would love to have one, but I'll treat myself to takeaway on Sunday after the Spurs game, I think. So I have no idea what the plan for dinner. Not a Scooby-Doo, mate. I walked in the door, went to the shower, got dry, did the stream. That's it. Ragaf, you're very welcome, mate. Good luck this season. Meninda says, what do we do with Stones in Sky? Right, this is a good question. It's a bin, isn't it? I think the one for me, and this is my instinct on it, is Ollie Watkins. I think that's probably the right one for me. Similar value. So it doesn't affect my plan of moving Gibbs-White to a second Chelsea player. I'm in a 4-5-1, which I didn't particularly want to be in. So I think the sensible, immediate idea for me will be John Stones to Ollie Watkins. Now, the only caveat to that is I've also got Emi Martinez. So I don't want both. I want to flip the goalkeeper as well. And I need to have a think about that. I'm going to put Flecken in for the minute. I refuse to go down the Ederson route for the sake of having a City defender. So I've put Watkins in and then Flecken in for Martinez. So still leaves me that 0.7. And now what that does as well, whereas I said on Wednesday's pod, that allowed me to move from Gibbs White to either Jackson or Enzo Fernandez. The FPL guys are going to think this is nuts, but trust me, this works for Sky. Go to Enzo Fernandez or Jackson. Now I've got the choice of going Enzo Fernandez, Jackson, or any second Chelsea defender. Any of them. So I think that's the one for me is Watkins. Then I just need to have probably a little final think about goalkeeper, and I need to basically stay under 7.5, I think. Thomas Powell says, if you could move to any country in the world but still always be at Tottenham games with no travel time, where would you move? Viva España, mate. You can have a little bit of home. You can have a little bit of abroad, I think. Viva España. Voyas Verta says, hello James, thanks for everything. How would you spend the Kane bounty ideally? What positions would you improve? I'd buy 2 more centre-backs. Maybe not 2, but definitely at least 1 more. And he's probably got to be left-sided, I think. Again, mind you, no, I need someone ambidextrous, or I'm getting so central midfielder now, mate. Someone to play the 8 role. Wouldn't be surprised if Tottenham went back in for someone like Gallagher. Say if Chelsea get Caicedo, I wouldn't be surprised if say Tottenham come back in for Gallagher, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's right-sided 8 now and centre backs. And to be honest, if that gets sorted in the next couple of weeks, then I'm quite happy with that and see where the team goes for this season. If the players who are in the squad up front stay, like even people like Perisic, then I don't think there's a need to do anything, to be honest. You've got Perisic and Solomon can cover that side if something happens to Son. With Richarlison, you can always move Son inside, or they've obviously bought the Argentinian boy Vélez. I think they probably will get another forward, but it'll probably be a young one, like Gift Orban's been linked a lot. And on the right, you've obviously got Kulusevski can play out there, Solomon can play out that side, and I think, to be honest, you could push Pedro Porro into that position as well. So it's even without Kane, like there's decent numbers in that position, whereas in other positions of the team there isn't. So it's central midfield and defence, and also with a consciousness in terms of central midfield that Bentancur will be back in a couple of months, and we'll want him back in the team, I think. But in competition for places is good. He's through that spine of the team. So a little bit in all the spines. Just upgrade everything through the spine. It's fine with me. And then let this manager cook, as the kids will say. And then let's see how we get on. Expectations are low, right? But we're going to watch better football. I'm still really excited for Sunday. Of course, yesterday was upset. It was more bothering yesterday because it was like, he's gone. I know, actually he might stay. Oh, he's gone. And so you have the emotional pull on that. But yeah, I completely understand why he's gone. And I also understand from Tottenham's perspective why they've done it. Because the money's irrelevant, by the way. Like, you can't afford to lose 100 million. Like, the player like that's priceless, mate. Like, if he had 3 years left in his contract and someone was offering 200 million, there's no guarantee Tottenham would take it because of what he means to the club. But it was unfair on Postecoglou, the idea that he'd build a team around him for 1 year and then have to build a second team next year. And that's why there's a little bit of relief. Plus, there's a relief we haven't got to hear about it for the next 12 months. So, I'm all right. It's sad. It is sad because it means a lot to us. But I've been prepared for this for 3 years ago, because I did on one of these streams 3 years ago. I was like, he has to leave. That was 3 years ago. 3 years ago. He has to leave. So I get it. Who's next? Galazzo says, how should Spurs reinvest the Harry Kane money? Okay, we'll skip that, but thank you. Lewis Johnson says, Sky, Richarlison. Yeah, that is a shout. It is a shout. It's cheap as. That is a shout. No, I don't think I need the money at this moment. The other thing with Watkins is you can keep coming back to it. Yeah, I'd consider that. If I went Richarlison, I'd go back to Martinez, I think. Yeah, that is a shout. He's dirt cheap, isn't he? He's dirt cheap. You can tell I haven't thought about Sky at all since Wednesday. That is going to save me a transfer down the line. In FPL, it doesn't matter. Go and get him later. That is going to save me a transfer. in Sky if I just go with him. It's going to be money in the bank. That's not necessarily the worst thing. I don't know. I feel like I should answer some questions. John says, do you think Harry Kane leaving could be good for Spurs in the long term? No, Harry Kane leaving is not good. But in terms of moving forward as a football club and it's not being a noise in the background, etc. Yeah. But there's bits to fight off. Like there's going to be a big protest next Saturday at the Manchester United game. There's already a protest planned about ticket prices. That's already in place. And now you've got the star striker's been sold and the hero, the boyhood player, sold moments before the season starts. That crowd's going to be bigger next week now. So, yeah, there's a little bit of rough to get through first, I think. But yes, I think I'd said this on a few of our Tottenham pods on Patreon over the last month or so, that almost whoever's going to play in this team, if it plays in the way it wants to play, whoever plays up front from it almost can't not score goals, it feels. Which is why I completely get those who wanting to go for Richarlison. I think in a lot of circumstances they had to say, yeah, Richarlison's arguably the one. It wasn't for me. I think Such has gone with him. And I want to get there as well, but I'm not so bothered for those first two. I want to see Tottenham play these two difficult games first. That's my take. I'm like, how much can I miss out on in these two games? It feels like not a lot. Liam Dean says, James, can we make sure we ask Suj about Harry Kane weekly, please? Suj is so pleased. Thing is, it's been an annoying saga, and both of us have went through it this year. He went through it with Declan Rice. I've been through it with Kane and stuff. It is boring. It's like, and the media just rinse every possible clickbait bit they can get out of it. Oh my God, he's at the airport. Tottenham aren't letting him fly. He's stuck at the traffic lights. The deal's off. That was like this morning. It's like, shut up. Just chatting rubbish. Just shut up and just let him go. And everybody moves on with their lives. Ragav says, hi James, thanks for the content. Do you think Kane will be back in a year or two in Premier League to chase the record? Yes, I'm sure he will be. It might be at Tottenham. My personal instinct right now would be that I hope it's not. Not because I don't want to see Harry Kane in the Tottenham shirt again. I just think it's move on. We've seen it with Bale. We're seeing it. I didn't want Pochettino back. If he comes back in 2 years, what is he? 32? Like, okay, listen, yeah, sure, he could come back and improve us and etc. But then the mobility's even less. Depends who the manager is. I don't know. It's difficult to see where he'd go in 2 years. I could almost see him, to be honest, ending up at City in a couple of years after all. If Haaland went to Madrid, say, in a couple of years, and Kane ended up at City, and then he gets his Premier League titles and stuff as well, and does the record for a couple of years, and City bring through a younger player behind Kane. I was like, yeah, I could see that, for example. So him going to Bayern as well is kind of the lesser of the evils in terms of, I don't have to see him play my team this year and stuff like that, right? If we play him next year, then great. Like, if you said to me now, Harry Kane scores for Bayern Munich against Tottenham next year, I'm like, sign me up. Because that has to be a Champions League game. Sign me up. Sign me up to Harry Kane scoring against Tottenham for Bayern Munich. For Bayern Munich next season. Sign me up for that. Not this season, next season. B-Max says, toasted cheese or cheese toasty? So it depends. If you put in the second one on top, then it's cheese toasty, isn't it? If it's just one, it's toasted cheese, I think. Jared93 says, where are Spurs finishing this season? I've done 5th, Man United finishing outside top 6. Bloody hell. Look, 9th as it stands right now, I think. And that's the lowest I think we'll finish. I see like Paul Merson the other day. If Harry Kane leaves Tottenham will 100% finish bottom half. Right, 100% Paul, yeah? 100% bottom half. Okay, I think you're looking for some clicks as well, aren't you? You're looking for some interaction. I think 9th's probably as bad as it will be. I think the style of play we're going to play, people are going to really, really enjoy. And I think we'll do well. But I think there's going to be a lot of bad results and some bad beats in that period as well. The start's difficult with those first couple. Then there's some nice ones. But even that, like Burnley, Bournemouth, I've said they're the two teams I think will probably surprise the most this year. So how easy are those two games? Then Sheffield United, then it's Arsenal, Liverpool, then it's a better run again, then it's a harder run again. So I think you'll get inconsistencies with Tottenham where it could be things like we beat Liverpool in game week 7 and lose at Luton in game week 8. Like, I think things like that, there's every chance will happen this season. And I think that inconsistency means we're probably towards the back of that pack. But with no European football, it does mean we can play to a very high intensity without concerns. And that's going to, I think, work in our favour a little bit, like it did in a way for Newcastle last year. So, yeah, I don't subscribe to the Tottenham season's over because Tottenham have sold Kane. Like, no, I don't think that at all. Tottenham will press even better without Kane. Richarlison will run in behind better than Kane. Richarlison's problem is he just can't keep himself on side, and he can't guarantee that he'll finish chances. He's going to frustrate the hell out of you guys. Though, yes, I do concede that he's probably going to be a good pick, and I desperately hope that he does great. I want to see him smiling, get that moody face off of him. Aaron Lever says, hi James, what do you think of Joe Rodon as a player, and do you think he'll do well at Leeds? Yeah, he should do well at Championship level. Would need a while to build his confidence back up. I think it's important to say. Yeah, it will need a while. He's got this awful trait, which I don't think will matter so much at that level, Aaron, but he's got this awful trait that he controls the ball and he does this. And he does it, sometimes you have to look down, of course you do, but he consciously does it. He receives, it's almost like I want to look at what I'm doing while I'm controlling, and then once he's done it, he stops and looks down. It takes too long. And that's why, unfortunately, like at the top level, I just can't see it for him. But should he do great for Leeds in the Championship? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he went on to become Leeds Player of the Year, as an example. That wouldn't surprise me at all. He's wholehearted, he's committed, gives 100% every game, so he's very likeable from that perspective. He defends properly. It's probably fair to say Leeds haven't had a centre back like him for a while. So yeah, I think he'll do quite well. Alex Trembar says, hey James, I'm having a friendly bet with a mate that Spurs will score more goals this season without Harry Kane than you did last season with him. He's a pessimistic Spurs fan. Do you think I'll win? Difficult to say, because despite all the boring last year, weren't we like 4th or 5th highest scorers or something? So if I'm predicting us to finish 9th, I'm probably going to say it's probably going to end up being no, isn't it? Brian says, crazy bias if you attend Fest. What's bias about it? I'm not going to Fest tonight. Garlic25 says, 5 questions. Who will be most surprising player of the season? Hang on, with your 5 questions. Who will be flop of the season? Who goes down? Biggest out their opinion and best takeaway. Okay. Most surprising player of the season. I feel like I need to pick an offensive player here. Most surprising. Phil Foden. I'm going to bottle it. I'm going to say Phil Foden because I just think he's going to have a mad one, I think. Biggest flop of the season, Richarlison. Please be wrong, James. Who goes down? Wolves, Luton and Sheffield United. Biggest out their opinion and best take. Biggest out their opinion is James Walcott on the Ripple Effect. Get hold of those 2 podcasts. You can watch them on Spotify, by the way. Me and Suj went on the James Walcott's podcast this week. Really good fun. Even though the deadline's gone, I think you'll still enjoy them. If he thinks Newcastle are going to flop this year, I'm not sure, mate. So I'm gonna stitch James out, and I'm gonna say that from James because it's easier than me saying, yeah, I think Chelsea will finish 8th. Like I'm hiding behind that. Best takeaway depends what mood I'm in, mate. I'm a sucker for something with chips, so yeah. I'm gonna please the wife and say a good Chinese at the right time, but not when it's hot like this. Because you want to drink a lot anyway, and it's literally as soon as I thought that, I'm like, I thought about Chinese. I was like, I need to drink something. Sam Warren says, any Haaland out 3 for 1 you like that misses the Newcastle game? I was going to do him to Kane, but think I might just save Trent. Yes, save, mate. Too early for that. At least get through the first weekend into the next one. So at least you've had some sort of gain at the start. So no, I'm not keen on selling Haaland this weekend, to be honest. Matt Martin says, best content game. What do you think the over-under line on average goals scored in Spurs games this season should be? It'll probably work out similar, right? So if you're asking me, Spurs games this season, average 3 a game, which is probably more than most, isn't it? But yeah, it's probably in around that. I haven't thought about that. To be honest, when people say over and under, 2.5 goals is often one mention, isn't it? I know average goals in the league's around about 2.7, 2.8. Do you know what? I wouldn't actually know what Tottenham's has been over the last few seasons, but I would guess that those nearer the top, it's maybe a little bit higher. I would think maybe, but then maybe not if they've got good defensive records. But then what did we score? We scored more we scored more than 60 and conceded more than 60 last year, didn't we? And I think that's only happened twice before, and one of those times was Tottenham in 2007-08 as well. So it's 120 goals. So, I mean, yeah, you are at like 3 on average. So actually probably 3 on average is probably a little bit high. So yeah, back to sort of 2.7, 2.8, I suppose. Ian Parent says, evening mate, how many players changed in your Sky FF team after the Kane move went through? And with Richarlison now a possible key asset, is he worth starting with? Yeah, I'm going to give Richarlison a real bit of thought in the next little bit of period of time, I think, Ian. Yeah, he might go in for me. The Kane didn't affect anything at all, mate. Nothing. Didn't affect the plan. Part of my plan was to kind of rework something that I would end up moving a Chelsea player to Kane if he stayed when Tottenham played Bournemouth on the 3rd Saturday. And that just means to buy one less Chelsea player now, so it's possibly saving me 2 transfers as well. And that's another reason maybe just to stick Richarlison in here. If I stick Richarlison in, then I go Emi Martinez in goal. Barry Morrison says Sky, João Pedro and Onana, or Aki and Johnston Flecken. I'm not so keen on João Pedro Sky, to be honest. What's his price? 7.7. Yeah, look, it's reasonable price, but then compare that with, say, Richarlison, who, as it stands, look like is going to play every week, 0.3 more. And you're never going to captain João Pedro on the presumption that you'll probably go Lewis Dunk as well. So can't really make the case for João Pedro on that. Aki feels like a problem waiting to happen with Gvardiol left-footed signed up. I'm not massively keen on either of them options, mate. If you've got Rashford, then I think the right answer there is probably Richarlison and a slightly cheaper goalkeeper if you're tight for money. That would be the recommendation. So maybe you might end up on the same as me, Richarlison and Martinez, maybe, if that's what I end up with. And the more I speak about it, the more I'm thinking, yeah, that probably makes sense, James. Ian from Melbourne says, well, at least get yourself a cold one night and good luck up the shrimpers. Cheers, mate. Gavin Richardson says, what food for tonight? Somebody already asked that. I've not got a clue. Right, let's rattle through these before this team news comes in. And we find out that Rico Lewis isn't starting. It'll be nothing to do but laugh. We'll be relying on Manchester United and Sam Johnston for good bench boost returns. Gavin Richardson, that's what we've done. Birth Media, hi James, honest thoughts on the money it would take for Casado. Think it's worth it for Liverpool or Chelsea? I made a comment, and I don't know where, and it might have even been on Patreon, to Suj, I think during the January transfer window when Chelsea were going a bit nuts. And I said to Suj then, I said, the way football's gone and evolved, one day we will look back at this amount of money that Chelsea have spent and think it's normal, and we will laugh at some of these transfer fees spent and think that they are cheap. Look at the explosion in the likes of the moves that have happened recently with Rice, Casado, even Paquetá sounds like it's going to be massive if West Ham sell him to Manchester City. So, like, if the team can afford it and then within FFP, that's what it will cost, right? It's going to keep going. We look at, if Casado goes for 111 and he does well, then that transfer in a few years is worth what? God knows. God knows. 200 million in 10 years? Why not? Could be, couldn't it? Barry, I've already done that. Connor Pert, Van der Vaart, Memories, James. As a non-Spurs fan, really enjoyed watching him play. Yeah, I've done Rafa quite a bit on these deadline streams. He just got what it meant to play for Spurs. He got it, and he always scored against Arsenal, which was obviously a bonus as well. Yeah, couldn't run. His fitness was horrendous, but he could play. If he'd have been quick and had the fitness, he would have been top level. But yeah, really good player, really likeable. it helped that he had someone like Harry Redknapp who he could be largely free under. It didn't feel right sometimes. He kind of got shoehorned in on the right sometimes, and then like Lennon wouldn't play, and he'd be asking Van der Vaart to go backwards. I remember Arsenal equalising us ironically in a game where he scored the first goal, and it was like, you've got to get Van der Vaart out of that position because they're going to score in a minute. And sure enough, they did. We still won. But yeah, in that 10 position, he had a really good relationship with Crouch actually, where you fire it in the Crouch, and Rafa just knew where to be off him. And then when you had like Bale and Lennon either side, and he just ping it out either way. Yeah, good player. Knew where that onion bag was. Scored a lot of good and important goals. Dean McKinney says, know the feeling with Rice leaving, mate, as a hammer I'll even miss Kane. What a player. Penguin says, cheers, mate. My son Liam likes changing my nickname. Before Bozos and now Penguin. Haven't been able to do Patreon sponsorship. They didn't have Columbia listed as credit card option. Any ideas? No. I don't. Message Suj and tag him and ask him. In fact, do one better. Message Clayton at Clates AFC, Clayts AFC. Message Clates and ask him to investigate it. You know Clayton, he's been on the pod with me, right? Message Clayton because he's in charge of all the business stuff. Message Clayton, say, can you help me find this out for me? And he'll probably over the weekend he won't, but on Monday he'll look into it for you and stuff. Greg Cook says, wanted to ask you if you're more excited about the start of the season compared to last, despite losing your talisman due to style of football. I don't know, because the thing is, this time last year was really positive about Spurs. Like, we ended the season before so well, and most people this time last year thought Tottenham were going to finish third. Most people, 19 out of 20 correspondents last year said Tottenham would finish third. So, I mean, it just went sideways really quickly. Even within the first few weeks, it was like, man, good results. It's like, either the performances are going to improve here, or the results are going to get worse. And obviously, eventually, it was inevitable that the results would get worse. Absolute given. So, to be honest, no, probably not more positive than this time last year. Because this time last year, I was sitting here thinking, we should finish third this year. And I think it was reasonable, whereas the expectation isn't there. But I think in terms of freedom and enjoyment, I bought into what Conte was trying to do, to be honest. And it went bad. But that counter-attacking football the year before was good. We destroyed some teams. Arsenal 3-0, Villa 4-0, Norwich 5-0, Leeds 4-0 away from home, Newcastle at home 5-1. We give some teams some madness, and we had some mad moments like the Bergwijn goals at Leicester, Kane's late winner at the Etihad in that crazy game. We had some brilliant moments, right? So this time last year was feeling pretty positive. That feels like a really long time ago now. So I'd say probably more relaxed, because I think last year, having finished fourth, there was like real pressure. It's like, we've got to do it again. I think everybody understands this is going to take a while, and there's a bit of a process here with Postecoglou. So pressure's off. But yeah, I'm probably looking forward to watching them more and feeling a little less pressure, I would say. That's a difficult one to answer. With football fandom, it always feels about today rather than yesterday, doesn't it? Luke Hill says, hey up James, just want to say keep up the great work, stay safe and take it easy. Thank you very much. Right, shall we... I'm going to wrap this up in a second, but let's see if we got this team news, shall we? Okay, brief sigh of relief. Lewis starts. So the City team is Ederson, Walker, Kanji, Aki, Lewis, Rodri, Alvarez, De Bruyne, Bernardo, Foden, Haaland. Yes, it's going to be Foden left, Bernardo right, Alvarez and De Bruyne as 10s, leaving Rodri in there on his own. He's going to try and pin them in. Okay. So I've got my start from Rico Lewis. So, okay, that'll do. Let's have a quick look at the Burnley team. Let's see if anything... I did have a tip-off that Goodmanson wasn't going to play. I knew it wouldn't affect anyone. Indeed, he doesn't. Koleosho's playing. And he nearly scored a cracking goal at Mainz last week. Probably play right wings fast. So we've got Shea, Bayer, Trafford's in goal, Roberts. Oh, Cullen plays. Well, that's ruined yesterday's Talking Tactics video. That's a surprise. Brownhill's a sub. Didn't see that with Cullen being fit. That's really important and good news for Burnley. Really good news. So Vitinho plays, so he's going to push from right back. Roberts going to play left back. Is that a back five? Does Vitinha play right wing? It's an interesting one. It's a Rory's sub as well. That's interesting. I'm looking forward to watching these. Yeah, that's an interesting team. That could be a back five. I don't think it will be because Kolyosho I think will play right wing. So he might go the other side of Vitinha right wing if it's still a back four. Amduni behind Foster's what I expected. That Cullen surprised me. Cullen and Berg in midfield. That's much better than what I thought it was going to have this time last week. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that tonight. Right, I'm going to rattle through these guys, but it's game week 1, so I kind of want to finish these off. But right, last one I see is Jared 1993, and that's definitely going to be the end of it. But I'm going to do these really quickly. Alex Ball, bloody early here, pal. Nice to catch you, though. Good luck this season. Thanks for all you do. You're very welcome. Good luck, mate. Greg Cook. Thanks for all the content. Good luck, you too, pal. Joseph Robinson. Kane, complete modern professional. James, can't think how you'll miss him from your life, James. It's not my family. I'll be all right. It goes on. He's not going to be there forever. Before him, there was others. You know, we started seeing Kane fleetingly as Bale left, right? Maybe Mikey Moore, right? Give it a couple of years, kids. There's the name for you to keep an eye on. Sebwa says, I wonder if Haaland scores 5 again. Not today, he won't, mate. Nick says, thanks for the pre-season and content during the season. Stay safe. Good luck to you too. Dave too. Excuse me. Did James switch to Saliba? Yes. Jared 1993. How many games would it take for Spurs to have registered 1,000 shots? Well, based on what we've done in pre-season, 30. That's not going to be the case, mate. Birth Media. Who were captain at Spurs? Son. I've no idea, mate. I wouldn't be hugely shocked if Bissouma gets it. I think the sensible take would be to give it to Son. Short on options. Maddison might even be an option. Might sound strange, might be an option. But I think probably the sensible thing at the minute would be till something's there a bit more experienced emerges. Yeah, probably just give it to Sonny. There is a leadership void there. Unquestionable. Keith Rowley, hello mate. Nice to see you back for FPL Deadline streams. Hello Keith. Martin King says Kane won't be on free kicks, small mercies. We'd got Maddison, so we was alright there anyway. Russell Baker, in hindsight, I have 4.0 defender, went Maddison plus 4.0. I'm regretting not going Richarlison and a doggy. Nah, it's alright, mate. It's alright, it's absolutely fine. You can always drop Maddison to Richarlison, right? It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Addy Tour says, thanks for the great concept of the summer. Everyone sign up for Patreon. It's great. Thank you, Addy. Good sales pitch, mate. Much appreciated. Rob H says, what are your thoughts on Jackson in Sky? Handicaps him for West Ham and Luton, and he's very cheap. Yeah, I'm going to assess him on Sunday, and it might be that Gibbs White to him is a possible move for me, but start, not consideration. Mans Anki Anderson, great name, says, is the team entered under fantasy or fantasy draft? Fantasy, mate. Ploughboy says, let's say Spurs shuffle forward with Kane departure. The eligible pre-season makes Perisic look pretty again. Yeah, it's had a good pre-season, Ivan Perisic. It really has. To be honest, if there's a point where it looks like he's going to play, it's going to be incredibly interesting for FPL. If we get to that point at any point, he could still leave before the window shuts. Connor Pert says, cheers James, great content. It's always have a good weekend, mate. You too. Greg Frost says Raggy is a massive tool. I don't know who that is, to be honest, mate. Sweet Blue says Berg starting for Burnley. Abby, I think Spurs and Chelsea will finish above Brighton and Newcastle this year. Sweet Blue's got the team in. Yeah, we got it. Thank you from Rubbish. That's such a great YouTube name. Just Rubbish. Brilliant. Men's style. James, what is your midfield in Sky? Salah, Rashford, Rodri, Gibbs White, Nakamba. Jared 1993, Stone's not even on the bench. Bloody hell. Benson on the bench for Burnley too. That was expected. Mal done it. My son loves you. Please give a shout out. His name is Patrick. Patrick, all the best. Be nice, Dad, this weekend. And up the Spurs. I don't know if you support Spurs or not, but if you love me that much, now's a good time to start. And Dad, I'm sorry if, yeah, you know. Matt Martin, do any research on Aleo Velez? It looks very good in the air. The problem is, to be honest, profile doesn't feel like it fits in. It feels like one, I think, he genuinely does look bollocks in the air. Where I think Tottenham might be thinking we use him as an impact substitute, maybe, if chasing the game and need a goal. and someone's going, right, we'll defend the penalty box. Okay, throw this kid on. If you look at a clips of his goals, some of his headed goals, like, it can't be a kid. So I don't know. It's a strange one. I'll be honest. Don't think the profile particularly fits, but it's also no lose. Like, Tottenham haven't been getting involved in these deals with these South American gems. I don't even think he's got his work permit yet. I'm not sure. He might still be awaiting it. But I think, there was a Richarlison rumour last night that he might be injured. Like, even if that was the case, I don't think Vélez would have started. I don't think he's not. Those who've seen him obviously way more than I have are not convinced. I think it's fair to say, Matt. But yeah, look, he's a young boy. Let's see how he acclimatises. He looks like he's physically ready for the Premier League. Yeah. Right, that's it. We'll leave it there. Thanks, guys. Hugely appreciated. Smash a like, hit the sub button. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the football. You can't affect the outcome. You've made your decisions. Try not to get sucked into the early price changes when fucking Alvarez gets 4 tonight. It's like, oh my God. That would have solved all my problems, by the way, if I knew Alvarez was going to play. Just gone Alvarez instead of Solanke. And that was the first thing I was thinking today as well. Was just tell me Alvarez is going to start and it'll fix my problems. So, yeah, good luck. Enjoy the weekend. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's game 1, game week 38. Enjoy the football. Watch it. Enjoy it. Weather's nice, hopefully, wherever you are. Me and Suj will be back with the first game week review pod of the season on Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Ciao for now.